All right, we are live on YouTube and recording right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we are live, y'all. We are live. You ladies ready?
Yo.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to play the theme song real quick, and then we'll get it started at 7:30.
All right, you got it.
Let's go.
We are live, y'all. All right, we are live, y'all. We are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another session of the Gobble Cloud Podcast. My name is william-nacouzi. I'm the host of this show. For everybody that's watching right now, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this for the first time, thank you so much. All my supporters out there always support my channel, love my content. Much love to all you guys. You guys can do me a big favor real quick before we start the show. Show some love to your toko, to your brother, and like and subscribe to my channel. Just press that like button. Press that subscribe button real quick, show some love and support. But nevertheless, we have a great show for you guys tonight. We got some beautiful ladies all around the world.
I can help you out. I can help you out. I can help you out.
Ooh, we got some beautiful ladies tonight on the show. Well, hopefully, they can help you guys out on your relationships. But that's why they're that's why they're on the show tonight. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me on this great podcast. But nevertheless, before we start the show, don't forget, this is for mature and adult audiences only. So if you're under the age of 18, I need you to go to bed real quick. But this is for adults only, y'all. All right.
But your inner child is welcome to join. Your inner child,
Yeah,
right?
for real.
So you guys already know this is for 18 plus. This is adult content because we're talking about dating, sex, relationships, modern day dating. So this is for mature and adult audiences only. But nevertheless, thank you so much for tuning in real quick. And we're gonna go ahead before we start the show. Don't forget, if you're watching this right now, this is a public show. So a lot of you guys are watching this live. Please drop a comment. Let me know where you guys from. Always show some love and support. But if you guys want to jump, if you guys are interested to be part of the conversation, you guys want to talk to us directly, want to talk to ladies, I'm always open to let people come on and have these type of conversations. Go DM me directly. Go to my Instagram, go to my Twitter, go to my Facebook, william-nacouzi. It's the same name to all the social media platforms. Send me a DM and I'll be able to send the link to you. Make sure your profile is public. I don't want any weirdos. I gotta make sure there's some good people coming on. As long as you have a public profile and you want to join in, send me a DM and I'll send you the link and you'll be able to jump on the show with us. Don't forget, guys, also, we do have the super chats. So if you guys, a lot of you guys always give me a great some, always show some love and support and donate to my show financially. So if you guys, like I said, if you're watching the show, want to also want to donate to me financially, drop a super chat and I'll be able to read those super chats live on the show. And also, if you do ask a question, I'll be able to respond to your questions live on the show and also ask the ladies a question. And also, don't forget, every single donation you guys send me financially is going to go towards my podcast and get my own studio. You guys always watch me. That's my goal, to get my own podcast studio one day. And hopefully one of these ladies ever come to California, we can bring them to the studio and have a live show with these ladies.
That sounds like fun.
I'm coming.
So, but that's it for the introduction. We are gonna start the show. We are ready to go. All right, so ladies, real quick, can you guys go ahead, introduce yourselves real quick? Your name, your possible age. What do you do? What do you do? And what is your relationship status? Nilu, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Neelam, and my nickname is Neelam Sundaram, and I'm in Indiana, not in India. I'm in Indiana, right here in the US. And I, for the last 15 years, have been a marriage and family therapist. So I'm in the business of relationships and sex and keeping people together, helping them part, consciously and peacefully and lovingly. And as for my age, I like to say that, like, this is my first lifetime in the US. Like, but I think I've lived many, many lifetimes, you know, being a Hindu. Like, I think I've lived many, many lifetimes in India and Pakistan, and for whatever reason, decided, well, you know, like as part of my mission, came here to the US, and I'm still like, I mean, I know how to like walk around, but I'm still like, this is not my home, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
All right,
That's
no
an
worries. Thank you so
immigrant
much.
thing.
All right. Thank you, Nilu. Also, like, this is the first time we actually have a certified expert in family and relationships, right? That's something I always have to remind people. Look, it's my podcast. I speak on my opinions, but I am not an expert. But now we have an expert.
Oh, well, that's so kind of you to say. But you know, there's something about this, right? A lot of degrees that are in the social sciences, you're just it's a checkbox, you know, but really your experience, it comes from within. It's like a lot of people I know, I've helped a lot of people get their master's degrees in social work and marriage and family therapy. And it's like we talk about that. You're just getting your things checked off, but you already have what it takes. You just need to prove it by getting the degree, you know.
Yep.
Otherwise, like they're good to go. If they didn't have to get a degree, they didn't need a degree, I think, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The one thing I would say I'm an expert at is I'm an expert at triggering women. That was my content.
Oh, nah.
I can be real. I can be...
Because that's what you do, right? To bring about consciousness, that's what you got to do. You got to trigger each other.
Yeah,
Right. There's even a whole therapy approach based on it. It's called imago therapy, IMAGO, and it's all about that partners trigger each other to try and, you know, work out their stuff from childhood that they couldn't work out. So you're doing a service to humanity right here.
All right. See, ladies in Washington, I'm getting endorsed by the expert.
You got my endorsement. Trigger away. Keep on triggering.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Leah. Thank you for introducing yourself. Let's go ahead. Mabel, go ahead. Introduce yourself real quick.
Mine's pretty simple. My name is Mabel Leota. I am from Brisbane, Australia. I am a pickpacker, so I work in warehousing, and I am 22.
All right, for sure.
You're in Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, so exotic compared to Indiana.
Exotic.
Exotic. Like, I'm in Indiana.
It depends which part of Australia. All right, ladies. Thank you so much for introducing yourselves real quick. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, anything you want to say about this lady, drop a comment below. Let us know where you guys from. You know, she's from Indiana, she's from Australia. I'm all the way here from the Bay Area, San Francisco. So drop a comment. Let me know what you're from. I want to know where you guys are tuning in from. So we'll go right into it. Let's go into the very first question. All right. So you know, I'm gonna go right into the hot topics. I'm gonna give you guys a very hot question.
Yeah, bring it.
Yo, I'm ready.
All right. So you know what? So the first question I'm gonna ask you guys is I want to ask about casual sex, right? Because you guys are in modern day 2021. That's the culture today. That's the dating culture today about casual sex. Right, it's all about casual sex. So I have my views on it. I'm not a big believer in casual sex. I don't think it helps people be able to find commitment with each other. If you're, you know, but that's just my view. I actually have a reaction video. I'm gonna play for you guys, and we're gonna react to it. This is a video from a doctor. She studies evolutionary psychology, the difference between men and women, and especially when it comes to sex. So she has a very interesting point of view, and I'm gonna listen to it, and we're gonna react to it, and then I'll ask you ladies what you guys think about it. But let me play the video real quick. Give me 1 second. Optimize. Alrighty. Right. Let me see. All right, there you go.
Well, you have a section.
All right. Can you guys see my screen? Everything good?
Yeah, it's good.
Yep.
All right. Let me just get to the part I need.
Really unhappy.
All right.
Empowered woman.
Give me 1 second.
Expectation.
There we go. All right, so I'm gonna play the video real quick. This is a video I saw was trending on social media, talking about casual sex, and then I'll ask for your reactions and also ask for your thoughts about it. So I'm gonna play it real quick for 1 minute.
I mean, I have so many young women who would reach out to me saying they're really confused because they're being told particular messages either by the media or just they're being told if you are a strong and empowered woman that you believe that you are no different from men in any way, including in sex. And so you should pursue sex the way that men do, or you should enjoy casual sex as much as men. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you. And so I get these young women who are telling me that they are really confused, they're really unhappy. So I wrote that chapter for them. And what I find really interesting is that I talk about how evolutionary psychology should not be seen as sexist. Evolutionary psychology is still very much a part of who we are. Yes, birth control exists, but it can't override the millions and millions of years preceding it. And to pretend that it doesn't exist does us a disservice. So a lot of people will say that evolutionary psychology is degrading to women. It says that women should have stereotypical gender roles or that we should be submissive, things like that.
All right, so I'm gonna pause it right there, ladies. All right, stop the share. So the people that watch my podcast, my views when it comes to casual sex, and I always tell people, the men and women are different. Even though we live in a society today that tries to push women that the biological differences doesn't matter and we're equal. For me, I do believe that there's certain things that men can do, and certain things that women can do based on our biology, and there's limits to it, right? One of the things I believe is the reason why casual sex is not beneficial for a woman is because for a woman, in order for a woman to have sex with a man, she must emotionally invest into that man, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you always, as a woman, if you're having multiple sexual partners and you're just having sex with all these random men, that means you're emotionally investing in these men, and these men are leaving, abandoning you. So you're gonna have a lot of emotional problems and trauma from all these men that you're gonna emotionally invest to, have sex with you, abandon you, and it just causes a lot of issues with the woman. But for a man, because we're different, we don't have to emotionally. Men can just have sex and just be and purely be physical. We don't have to necessarily invest emotionally. So that's why for a lot of guys, they can have sex, multiple partners, and still be healthy. And then when they do find a good woman, he can still be healthy when they have that relationship with a good woman and commit to that woman, and they can have a good relationship. But for a woman, if she's going out and having casual sex with all these types of men, she's more than likely going to have a lot of emotional issues. So it's not beneficial for her. And also, you also want to add the fact that the risk of pregnancy, if she gets pregnant, there's another issue that's going to add on to her life. So I'm not a big supporter of casual sex. I think people should be in committed relationships with one person at a time. And if you can avoid sex, but I think that's one of the biggest issues today why a lot of women have insecurity issues, why a lot of women don't trust men, have a negative perspective towards men, is because the society is telling them to have sex. And then when you have sex, you end up having a kid with the wrong partner. And then, that can cause a lot more issues, right? Having baby daddy issues, right? But also you're gonna have a lot of emotional trauma because all the men in your life failed you and abandoned you. And now it's gonna put and then guys see that, and they're like, you know what, I don't want to deal with that girl. I'm gonna go, that's just too much trauma to me. And also she may have a kid already, or for a lot of guys, they don't like a woman that's a hoe, right? That's promiscuous. And you guys already know this, men don't like hoes. They don't want to wife a hoe. So I believe that casual sex does a disservice for a woman. If she's looking for a good man, if she's looking for commitment, if she's looking for marriage, then don't do casual sex. But but I do see a lot of women today, they're going out there having casual sex, but they wonder why, they're confused why men are not running up to their face, hey, please marry me. All right. So, but that's my thoughts, ladies. And also, she's a doctor. She's done her research, so she's not basing her opinions based on feelings. She's based it on research. This scientific data that shows that if a woman has sex, she's more than likely to have a lot of issues that come with it. But I'll open it up to you, ladies. What do you guys think about casual sex? Do you think it's a good idea? It's a good thing, or are you guys against casual sex? I'll start with you, Mabel. What's your thoughts on it?
Casual sex is something I've never done before, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I feel like because it's us women, if we have like so many different sexual partners and just like casually having like casual sex, we'll be known as the hoe.
Yeah.
Like, we're obviously gonna be like called the hoe or you know, like just a pastimer. But when it comes for having casual sex, they get praised for it. So it's kind of different. So that's all I know about that. Yeah.
Okay. So for you personally, you don't you don't believe in casual sex. You know, if you want to attract a committed relationship, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Nilu, what's your thoughts, Nilu?
You know, I think first of all, it's really great that you're bringing this up because, and it's important that you're bringing this up as a man, Will, because I think there's a way in which somehow I think women need to hear this from a man, a man's perspective.
Yeah.
And what I will say is, I have some controversial views. I think in general, that societies are set up to disempower women.
Okay.
So all kinds of ways to disempower women, because actually women have the power to birth, and that is like the most powerful creative force on the planet. So you want to try and disempower women, because if they were empowered, you're dealing with, like a social force that's like destabilizing for society. So if you tell women casual sex, you're equal, go have casual sex, I actually think that's a way of disempowering a woman. When women unconsciously or without thinking it through, that's what casual means.
Yeah.
Are just going off and doing something, which is this is what I teach online. Sex is a deep and powerful energetic exchange. All right. If you're going to just casually do it, you're depleting your own power. You're depleting your own resources. Because generally men who want to have casual sex, what they want is they don't have the ability to generate feminine energy within themselves. And they want to deplete it from a woman.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's a way of women disempowering themselves. I think the way to empower yourself around your sexuality for women is to be highly selective.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Not only to be highly selective, but then to also be very specific about the kind of sex and very conscious about the kind of sex that you want to have.
Yeah.
This is another way in which women get disempowered, right? They don't have a voice now. They just have to go with whatever is happening in the moment. But what if as a woman you could say, here's the kind of sex I want to have with you, and I need to have a 1-hour conversation about this. We need to have multiple conversations about the kind of sex that I like to have. And let me interview you and see if you're the right kind of person. But we don't allow that for women. We're just supposed to go have a few drinks, go in there and take off your clothes and, blah, blah. But have you, does a woman get to say, well, I don't actually like doing that. And I don't just mean physical things. I mean, even just the energetic, like I'm going on and on, Will. So stop me whatever you want.
It's all good.
We live in a porn culture right now.
Yeah.
And so a lot of pornography is not about consent. It is about disempowering the female, feminine, and the masculine. I mean, those images that are being portrayed are not of human beings who are connecting around love and empowerment. They're connecting around shame and disempowerment and, around that.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's about like, doing things that are unacceptable. So it makes you feel powerful. Like, I'm gonna do this anyway, even though my mama wouldn't want me to, my dad would not want me doing this, but I'm gonna do it. So, there is a rebelliousness to it. But ultimately, pornography and pornography culture are not about empowering the masculine or the feminine.
Yeah. I do have a question for Mabel, because I know because I know you're in your 20s. Because one of the things you said, society is pushing women, right? A lot of women out there today are having casual sex because that's what society's doing, but they don't really want to.
Yeah.
But they feel like that no man is gonna want them, or no man is gonna they're gonna attract no guys if they don't want to give up sex. But let me ask you, maybe like your friends, right, or the friends or the women in your circle, is that what you see with a lot of girls that your friends and everybody's just trying to have casual sex, or like can you share some of that, like your experience?
Yeah, sometimes when we're having like when we all like say for example, we just had a recent work party, and they like normal drinks, everyone's drinking, having a good time, and half of the time everyone's always talking about hookups, like oh yeah, I'm gonna hook up with this guy, I'm gonna hook up with that guy, and sometimes I have to sit there and wonder like why, like well, what's the whole point? You're just gonna hook up and then you're gonna come tomorrow at work awkward and stuff because like you don't want to come and see the same guy that you hooked up with. And then with some of the girls, they sometimes they just want to have sex just for the pleasure of having sex, but so like they'll ask me the same questions if I want to, but I don't really want to. It's more because like once you have sex, it's like you don't have the connection anymore. Like if it's just casual sex, like you don't feel the connection as well, and then there was like no point in sharing yourself like that.
Yeah, because like I told you guys before, like if you invest emotionally to somebody and then that person doesn't reciprocate it back to you, it causes a lot of internal issues, right? Now you're questioning yourself. That's why a lot of girls may have like low self-esteem. They're like, oh my god, this guy, I had sex with this guy and he just totally ghosted me. Like, am I something wrong with me? Am I not beautiful enough? Right? And then you see the same guy with another girl in the same workplace. And then the next right? Now you're comparing yourself to other girls, and now these girls like, wow, what's wrong with me? But there was nothing wrong with you. But that's what happens when you're just sleeping with other guys instead of just being investing to one guy that's gonna not only have sex with you, but he's gonna stick around and appreciate you. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Let me ask you, ladies. Did you guys ever experience? Did you guys ever go through your casual sex phase? Like in the past, or were you guys always in this perspective where you want to be in a committed relationship? Because it'd be interesting to see like how was it when if you guys did go through the casual sex phase? Did you guys ever go through that phase at one time in your life?
No.
No, and in fact, I have been voluntarily celibate for the past 6 years.
Yeah.
And there have been potential, and I just thought, if this is not going to be something that is going to be, okay, it doesn't have to be like we spend the rest of our lives together, but at least it could be like we help each other, like we really kind of like help each other in a way that is like like it's powerful. And I was like, this is not going to be powerful for me. So why I'm not going to do this. Like, I'm gonna do this if I feel like it's gonna elevate me to the next level. And that's the difference between casual and something that's sacred. Like if this is gonna bring me to my next level of wherever I want to be in my life, okay. But and now at this point, I'm like, this sounds so silly. I was thinking this today. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to meet a man at my level. So like maybe, I don't know, like what's going to happen next year? Because is there anybody on this planet who is now at my level? I have no idea. So, like I just don't. Like you can just tell, because the other thing that happens is if you're celibate for a while, and this is why a lot of like religions say to stay celibate before you get married. If you're celibate for a while, you become like so tuned in that like this happens to me all the time. I'll like talk to somebody on the phone, and afterwards I'm like, what is going on with me? And I'm like, that must be what that mofo was feeling. And then I just picked up on it over the telephone. So there's no way that he is gonna be inside my body with all of that going on. If on a phone call I'm like, like overwhelmed with his like whatever, his whatever. I don't know what to call it. Energy, whatever. Yeah. Like this is not happening, This is not happening.
I would say this, the good thing about being celibate, right? For a woman is you'll be able to evaluate your man very objectively. So because your emotions not involved, you'll be able to look at him and see all the red flags. The thing is, if you have, because you already know this, ladies, once you have sex with a man, you emotionally invest into him some way, some degree. So a lot of times I see these ladies, right? Like when I look at the guy that they're trying to get commitment from, you see all the red flags. I'm like, why are you with this guy? All right, right? But they can't. But the thing is, when your emotions are involved, you overlook all the red flags because you're emotionally invested. But if you don't have sex and celibate, you can take a look back. All right, oh no, I see all the red flags, and you can walk away from it. But it's hard to walk away from a guy that you had sex with because now you at some level you emotionally connected with them. And then there's like, and a lot of women, they want to date the potential, right? There's a potential. Hopefully, this guy would, commit to me, and then this may be my dream guy. But that's why the thing is, I tell ladies like, no, be celibate so you can be able to be more selective and have a wiser choice. But if you're just giving it up, just throwing, giving it up out there, then that's why I see a lot of girls like they get emotionally involved and they pick the wrong man. All right.
Yeah. Well, it's hard. We live I mean, I do being a therapist for like 15 years now.
Yeah.
People are lonely. They could have a wife and 5 kids in their house. They could be part of a huge church community and they are full on lonely. And why? Because they can't really be themselves. Like they're half themselves, there's a part of themselves that they don't really get to be. And then you sit with a therapist and you're like your entire self for just an hour a week. But like that hour a week is so powerful that it impacts your entire life. You're like, I can't do this anymore. I need to be my whole self with like everybody because it feels so good, And that's the other thing about casual sex. How can you bring your whole self? You bring a sliver of yourself to the experience. And usually the sliver of yourself that you bring is the part of you that's like impulsive, adventurous, what I would call like the shadow self, the part that doesn't care, the part that's like whatever, but that's a sliver of who you are. I think, Will, what you're saying is after the fact, especially for women, then you realize, oh, that was just a sliver of me, but the rest of me like really does care.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Maple, let me ask you this, like, because I guess you don't believe in casual sex. How do you stay, like, because, there's a lot of pressure, right? Society, casual sex, but you're trying to go against what everybody else is doing. Like, how do you stay committed to what you believe in and not try to do what everybody, and not feel tempted to do what everybody else is doing?
Sometimes I honestly just vibe by myself. So unless I like find someone who's actually like got the same vibe as me, that's when I know, oh, okay, that's the guy. But like other people, they'll go and like look, okay, he's hot. Yup, I want to do it with him because he's hot. Like plainly because he's just good looking.
Yeah.
After that, they complain, oh yeah, this hot guy doesn't message me back. Like that's okay. That's come on. Like you couldn't tell like from his vibe or something like that. I don't know. Because I've never done the whole casual sex thing before, so I wouldn't know. But other than that, like I just go for mostly their vibe and like the way they treat other people. Like I sit back, I observe.
Yeah, so that's why I brought up the video of that professor, right? And she's pretty much explained the difference between men and women, because you have to understand when women choose to have sex with a man, women have sex for the purpose of a potential relationship, right? But for men, we have sex purely just for sex, and that's why men and women need to understand the difference between men. Like whenever I hear girls, oh my God, I gave it up, I had sex with him, he never responded. I was like, yeah, that's what men do. He got the sex like that. He may have told you all the things you wanted to hear, and but that's just the world we live in. I mean, men will manipulate you, tell you whatever you want to hear, so they get the ultimate goal. But that's the difference between men and women. Women have sex for hopefully like for a potential relationship, but men don't. And if a man wants to be in a committed relationship with you, he will do more than the sex. Like he will stay around, and you'll be able to get commitment from him. But let me. I had a question from Mabel. Do you find it so because you wanna, you're not into casual sex? Do you find it hard to attract men? Like, because I'm sure the men still try to pursue you, but then you have to tell them, look, I'm not into casual sex. Like I'm looking for commitment. Like, how's that experience for you? And how's their response when you tell them, hey, I'm looking for commitment? Do they, like, what's their reaction?
Oh, I just tell them. Like, with some guys, sometimes when they reply to my stories or photos or stuff like that, it's always like, oh yeah, you're so sexy. Like, they try to use the right words, but it doesn't really faze me because it's not really my right words.
Yeah.
So I just tell them straight out, like, oh yeah, that's cool, and then I just leave it at that. Like, I don't reply after that. So
have you ever went on a date, or with a guy and you told him that you don't do casual sex?
yeah.
And how did you respond?
I didn't want to be mean, but I told him, oh, nah, I'm not into that stuff, and then told him to drop me off back home. I was
What do you say? What do you say?
Oh, he was like, oh yeah, that's fine. He didn't message me back, so I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you caught that, Nilu. Like, she said that she didn't want to be mean. It's gotten to a point where you actually feel bad for having standards, especially when it comes to protecting your sexuality, which you shouldn't even feel that way. You know what I'm saying? But because of society pushing this culture, now the good women, the good quality women that do want to protect their sexuality for the right man, they feel like, oh, I'm probably terrible. I'm mean. I'm a terrible. I'm being mean to this guy. But no, you're doing exactly what that's the best way to do it. And also, Nilu, I want to ask you that same question because you've been celibate for 6 years. Like, how's that when you do have go on dates or have go dates with men or have conversations with men and you bring that up? Like, what's their typical response when they find out that you want to be celibate?
Well, I mean, I haven't gone out on a date.
Oh, okay.
Years. I mean, it's been much more organic. It's been maybe like, maybe I went on a couple of lunches and then it just never went anywhere. So the situations have been much more organic. It's been like we're friends and, it's starting to change. And then, I mean, what I say is I'm already a single mother. And for me, sex is never going to be casual. Like I already, I can't imagine being a single mother to 2 kids, and I'm not going to do that to myself or my daughter. So like, and then I'll say, I mean, I don't know, I have not lost friendships, but I've not lost friendships, but I definitely distance came in the relationship in three friendships for sure.
Okay.
But also what I've said is I've been like, there are like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women that you can like do this with. And like I'm not her. Like we need to either this is going to be like I'll be like, are you prepared to like provide child support? Like, I mean, we just need to talk about that because I don't get child support. Like I'm not getting child support. So like if I have a second kid, like I'm not working first of all, and then I'm gonna need some child support. And it's like it's funny. It'll be like, well, how much do you need? I'm like, well, listen, I mean, we should be talking like 5K because like maybe a little more because like how am I gonna work with 2 kids? Like I don't want to be working with 2 kids. And it's funny because he's like, seriously, 5K, you want 5K? I was like, yeah, I want 5K. What about 10? Can you do 10? And it's funny, but it's silly, but it's also getting to the point, which is that like, I can't have casual sex because I cannot be a single mother to 2 children unless I know for sure this guy is like, even if it doesn't work out, I'm gonna be there for you. Right.
Oh, okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if the conversation is serious, what if he did say, well, listen, if you get pregnant, of course I'm going to be there for you. We may not get married, but I'm going to be a father. I'm going to be a provider for you. You can count on me. Like you're not going to be raising these kids alone.
Yeah.
Right. But the conversation never really progressed at that point. So I'm like, why? I'm not going to.
Yeah.
It would have been different if they said, oh yeah, of course, Neil, you can count on me for the rest of our lives. I'm going to be there for you.
Yeah.
And both your kids. If we have a kid together, I'm gonna be there for both kids because it's not fair for me to be only there for one kid. You see what I mean?
And that's why for me, like I'm trying to push, like I'm trying to push to be anti-casual sex and focus on being super selective, because like the doctor said, right, the cost of the risk or investment it's higher for the women because you get pregnant.
Because you get pregnant.
Yeah, so like that's why it's good for you to be very super selective. So you find a man that's gonna stick around for the child. But if you're just going out there have a random be with random men, then don't be surprised if the guy doesn't stick around.
Well, and here's my standard, Will. This is how far my standard has gone.
Yeah.
In my head, I'll be like, could I put all of my money and my name in this man in my house in this man's name? And do I trust him to take care of me and my child?
Yeah.
And if the answer to that is no, I really don't need to entertain anything else.
Exactly.
But like if I can say yes, I could put all my money, I could put my house and everything I own in this man's name, and I am for sure 100% he will take care of us. Even, you know what I mean? Then I'm like, yeah okay, then I'll, are we allowed to curse? I can't.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, then I'll fuck you. Like if I know that if all my money was in your name, like I know for sure, like you got me, yeah, we can fuck.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't happened. I've not met a man who I would put all my money in his name, and I would be like, here, you can have my body too, because I trust you with my body. It just doesn't happen.
All right. I do want to ask
you,
ladies.
It's a high standard, right?
Yeah.
Changes the whole game.
Exactly. Which is you have to be, especially when you talk about like if you want a high quality father and a family, like you should be have high standards to the type of man you're gonna allow into your life. I do want to ask you guys, ladies, a question, because this is one of the things that women get mad at. I always trigger women, right? Because one thing that Neil said was like this movement, to empower women, which I'm all for, but the thing is, I'm all about empowerment for both men and women, but I do also understand the biological differences between men and women, right? Or what we can do, because men and women are designed for different purposes based on our biology. So that's why a lot of women will say, "Oh my God, how come men can have multiple sexual partners, but women can't?" And I already explained my point of view is because men don't get emotionally vested into having when they have sex. It's just physical. But then for women, you guys have to emotionally invest because that's how women are. You're the more nurturing, caring, and emotional gender, right? So I do want to ask you: do you guys have friends because if I say that because for me, like if a guy has sex, I'm cool with it, right? Most people say because even if a woman has sex, I'm against it. But for a lot of girls, are like, oh my God, he's he's trying to suppress women. He's a misogynist, he's sexist. Women can do everything that man can do. I'm like, no, you can't. Because sexual dimorphism, we're different.
Yeah.
That's why we have double standards. But let me ask you, Mabel, do you have friends like that? Like, that they have that ideology? Or, you know what? If a man if a man can be a hoe, I can be a hoe. If a man can have sexual partners, I can have multiple sexual partners. You have friends like that?
Yeah, I do. I have this one friend who's very much like that, and sometimes at the end of the day, she always comes back and she's like hurt. She's hurt all over again, and she's
of course.
Nice. I'm sitting there trying to comfort this idiot, and like I just don't understand. Like come on, like you want to be out here with like trying to get the same energy as like all these guys having sex with like multiple partners, and then you try the same, but it doesn't work out because like us girls in our heads, it's completely different. We might think, oh yeah, I can do what that guy's doing, but low key in our heads, like at the end of the day, we still end up hurt. So, she's always the one that ends up hurt, and I always have to tell her, well, it's not really anyone else's fault but yours, because you're out here trying to do what everyone else is doing. Yeah.
You give her some good advice, or she doesn't listen?
Oh, I just tell her. Because like I give her like multiple advice like throughout the years, and she doesn't listen. So like it gets tiring because you keep saying the same things over and over again, and she doesn't listen. So yeah.
I know if a lot of women when I say that in public, like they get mad. Oh my God, like that's that's misogynistic for me to have a standard for men and have a different standard for women. But for me, it's just like, no, because we're different, right? So there's certain things that women can do that men can do. Certain things men can do, women can do. You know, look, I'm not the creator. All right, you know, go ask the creator. This is how we were designed. It's just biology. But like I said, you know, we live in a society today that nobody wants to listen to the data, to the facts, but people just have their own subjective truth, and whatever their truth is, that's truth, right? But yeah, same thing. But yeah, ladies, that's my thoughts on. Hey, Mabel, I have somebody that wants to join. It's somebody that you know. It's somebody. He just DM'd me, said he wants to join the call. But I want to ask you if you. I think it's your older brother.
Okay.
Are you cool with that?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Are you sure?
Yep.
All right. So okay, I'll send him let me send him the link. But he asked if he wants to join, but I wanted to ask you first. If you don't want to, then it's okay.
Fine, honest.
All right. All right, for sure. All right. So yeah, if everybody that's watching this right now, let me know what your thoughts are. You know, what you guys thought about casual sex. But like I told you guys before, my point of view when it comes to casual sex, it's not beneficial for a woman because, like I said, you guys can get pregnant, and also you guys have to emotionally invest into the men that you're gonna have sex with. So if you always having multiple sexual partners, there's gonna be a lot of emotional hurt, just like Maple's friend. You're gonna get upset. You're gonna get hurt by all these guys. They're gonna smash it and pass it, hit it and quit it, and they're gonna respond to you. Because like I told you guys before, like, you know, men, they want to have sex, and then women, the reason why you guys have sex is to get kind of emotional connection or relationship out of it. But that's why I think Nilo said it best, like, you know, be super selective with who you want to allow to come into your life. And I always tell women this, because a lot of, you know, there's this narrative out there that a lot of girls have this insecurity that they don't give up sex. They're afraid that no man wants to is going to take them seriously. No man, they're going to attract any men because they see all these other girls having sex. I always tell girls, like, look, I'm telling you, the men, they'll have sex with all those girls, but then they'll wife the good girl. That's one thing I always tell girls. So don't worry about it. Just let them have sex with other girls, but then when men are ready to find commitment, they'll find you. They'll find you, and you're gonna be the one married, and the other girls are gonna be the ones still running around doing the same thing.
Well, I do want to say this, Will.
Go ahead.
You know, for the women who are out there who may have had a lot of sexual partners, maybe you feel like, quote, damaged goods or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing that can't be healed or repaired.
Yeah.
Like, you can heal yourself. Typically, if you have had, you know, like you've let a lot of people into your life or let a lot of people into your body, it might have been because you didn't have good boundaries when you were growing up. So you never really learned how to have good boundaries and say no and like sit down, you know, like, this is not good for me, because maybe you didn't get to do that in your family. So you can heal from that wound. You know, you can say, all right, fine, you know, whatever, I slept with 40 people, I don't know, whatever, you know, whatever people's number is, I slept with 120 people. Okay, I casually had sex with 120 people. Or, I mean, let's even go further. I was a porn star and whatever, you know, I worked in the porn industry and I slept with like 500 people. I don't know, whatever. Can you heal from that? Can you cleanse yourself from that? Absolutely. How? With a lot of daily effort and work. So this is why everybody is so into meditation. It literally is spiritually cleaning yourself. Now, what it takes is, first of all, seeing your mess. And it's not easy to see your own mess, right? Or if you're working with a therapist, you're clearing, cleaning, you know, or if you're doing yoga or you're chanting, you know, all these spiritual practices are literally meant to clean and clear you of all the things that hold you back from being your most like glorious self. You know? So if you're a woman out there and you've had a lot of casual sex and you feel like damaged goods, you know what? 10 minutes a day, commit. Just say, for 10 minutes a day, I'm going to clean myself. I'm going to cleanse myself. And everything that happened to me that hurt me, I'm going to clear it out of my system. And it might take me 2 years. And I'm going to be celibate. It might take me 5 years, but I am going to clean and clear all of that shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for giving some motivation for the women out there that do have high body counts. And I know that's one of the biggest things that a lot of women would say, like, that's you're putting those women down by saying my view of how men don't want to wife up a hoe. So the thing is, I always tell ladies, look, I'm not going to judge you, ladies. Like, if you want to be a hoe, hey, go ahead. That's what you want out of life, and that's what you want to do. All I'm saying is there are consequences to every decision we do in life. So that's the thing is, because of society today, you're pushing women to have casual sex, but they're not telling them what the consequences of what's going to happen.
Yes.
Right. They're telling
What
them
I'm saying is you can heal from that consequence. It doesn't have to be like a permanent identity marker. I mean, I guess that's what it is for me. Like, I didn't have that many partners, but I didn't have any casual sex partners, but I did have relationships, and they were wounding, why were they wounding? I actually think they were wounding because I hadn't dealt with my own wounds, and they opened up those wounds for me, and they opened up that wound for themselves. And so, anybody who's out there, you can heal from anything that's happened to you. Just put it on every day. You can heal from it. You don't have to have that be a permanent part of you. You can really just take on a new identity by cleaning yourself of everything that you don't want anymore. You know how they say, I release everything that no longer serves me.
Yeah. Like I said, I always tell ladies, like, look, you're free to make your own life choices, but just understand that if you decide to be promiscuous, you decide to be a hoe and go out there and sleep with random and multiple men, just understand there's going to be consequences, not only to attracting men, but also attracting the good men, right? The good men that every woman wants to have. The man that's going to be a great father. And like I said, that's why I always tell women that, look, the society's not going to tell you that, because what society's telling these ladies is all rainbow and sunshine. Yeah, go have sex, everything's good, happily ever after. You're gonna find your prince and ride to the sunset. that Disney fairy tale, right? But I tell women, no, like, everything in life you have to work for. If you want a good man, you have to work for it.
But you know what? I'll tell you, Will, love can happen anywhere. So I'm just taking the most extreme examples, right? So there's this first, I think she's the first, like, American Indian porn star, is this woman named Sunny Leone. Sunny Leone, okay? And she's Canadian. She moved here to, California, got into the porn industry. She left at her house at like age 18, but she grew up in a very dysfunctional, alcoholic, trauma-driven family, right? So she goes into what does she do? She finds her Jewish husband. I mean, he's also a porn star. But now they're not in the porn industry anymore. They're in Bollywood. They live in Mumbai. They started an art school. They adopted 3 different foster girls, and they're raising their family, and I think what happened is they rescued each other. That's my take on it. Like, she probably just never had anybody, but she was a porn star and she found love. So I'd like to say that the women who are out there, you're not permanently damaged just because you're promiscuous. At any point in time, you can decide to be different.
I would say this to add to what you said. They're not permanently damaged, but I would say this just to keep it real with the women out there. There's a high probability of you finding a good man. Right? So that's the thing that I'm all about probability. What are the chances? So if you want to be promiscuous and go sleep around, that's fine. But it could be really, really hard for you to find a good man. That's why a lot of porn stars. I don't know if you guys ever watched porn star podcasts. If you watch if you listen to a lot of porn stars they do podcasts, they always talk about how it's so hard for them. Right? These are very beautiful women, very gorgeous women, right? But they find it hard. And when women always ask me like, oh, gender differences or biological difference doesn't matter, I'm like, it does matter. Look at porn stars, the most beautiful women in the world, but they can't find a husband to save their life. It's because we're different between men and women. But nevertheless, let me know what your
But
thoughts are.
that's also another, I don't know, Will, I'm gonna come at you with
Go
this.
ahead. Go ahead.
That's also a way of disempowering women, right? Like what I want to say is, I don't care what's happened to you. I don't care what bad choices you made, good choices, you know, whatever's happened to you, you can rise above it. Like, I don't know, maybe that's my, you know, I'm a Hindu, and that's exactly what Hindu religion is about. It's like you can rise above anything. Even if you had casual sex with 500 people, I'm here to say you can rise above that and you can get what you want, whatever it is. You know, if you want a good husband, you can get a good husband, but you're gonna have to put in the daily work for like years probably to cleanse yourself of whatever is holding you back. But like there is no woman on this planet who cannot get what she wants. She's just gonna have to put the daily effort in there. The daily effort.
I totally understand where you're coming from, but for me, it's all about if there's a different path that you can avoid going through those, climbing that mountain. Why take that route? Why go in a route that's much more logical and much more better, more advantageous? And of course, like most people don't have the determination because to go through that process. If you talk about just the average person, most people give up, right? There's a certain reason why certain people succeed and certain people don't. The people who are successful and very driven individuals, everybody had that drive. Everybody was successful. It's the same thing with attracting a good man. If every woman was doing what they were supposed to be doing, every woman would be married today and have a good man. There's clearly a reason why all the good men are with these certain type of women. Is because those women were able to behave in a way and make choices that was beneficial for them. But like I said, like that, and that's just my standpoint. Is like I'm not trying to disempower women. I just want to women like look, women. If you go down this route, this is the journey you're going to take. There's a lot of mountains you have to climb. There's a lot of.
See, I guess I have a different experience. Like part of, you know, I live in a small town.
Yeah.
And there have been a few women who've come to me who literally were strippers since they were like, you know, it's a small town. You got to make money. They started stripping when they were 16.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're coming to me. They're 19, 20 years old. And they're like, I want to go to college. I want to get married. I want to have kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. We're going to make it happen.
All right. Okay.
We're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like no one gets to be disempowered. So how are we going to make it happen? First of all, you got to agree to make less money, right? You got to agree to make less money, get a job that maybe you know, because in some ways there are advantages to doing those kinds of jobs. You make money faster, right? So are you willing to give it up? And are you willing to do the hard work? Going to college is not easy, you know. Maybe you work and you do it part-time. I helped somebody do that, and she did get married and she did have 2 children. But why did she get into stripping in the first place? Well, I mean, she was abused by her family as a kid, so it wasn't really her choice, you know. It was like this thing that happened to her, and then she's just reenacting the trauma, but in a slightly empowered way because she's gaining financial security.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But it wasn't her fault that she got abused as a kid by multiple family members. That's not her fault. And then, you know, the casual whatever sex came from that. It's like she just really didn't know what she was doing. So I don't know. I just want to, you know, like, you see what I mean? Like, I want to be careful about every woman gets to have power. Just because, you know what I mean? Just, it doesn't, you're not exempt from having power if you've been promiscuous. You still get to empower yourself.
I would say that is like the power comes from accountability, right? Is when you, like I said, it's not your fault if you grew up in a certain household, a certain circumstance, and bad things happen to you, because we all go through that at some point of our lives.
Yeah.
But we are responsible how we respond to that after. So if bad things happen to you, but you choose not to make any changes, knowing full well those choices doesn't do anything beneficial for your life, but you repeat the cycle, that's on you. So that's why
people in their 20s, I'm not in my 20s.
Yeah.
But people in their 20s are still so young that, like, if they haven't figured it out yet, I'm like, that's okay. If you're in your 30s and you haven't figured it out yet, that's okay. You know what? If you are in your 60s and you have not figured it out yet, that is okay. Like, you're just going to figure it out. You're going to hit consciousness when you hit consciousness. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I just feel like, you know, people just, you know, popcorn pops when it's going to pop. Every popcorn kernel pops at a different time. And like, you can't predict when it's going to pop. Somebody's not going to pop until they're like 60 and finally decide to like change their life.
But I know, but the thing is, like, if they don't make any changes and don't take accountability and they keep doing the same thing over for long periods of time, their life just gets worse. So
yeah,
you know, so I'm saying for me, you know, respectfully, I would disagree with what you said, and I think you're actually hurting them instead of telling them directly, look, take accountability for what happened to you. But I would say you always have an opportunity to change your life every single day because you can make new choices every single day.
But I'll tell you, Will, some experiences in life are so incredibly crippling that you can't even deal with them until your 40s or your 50s or whatever. I mean, that's what I've seen. I've had 70-year-olds come to me. I had this one millionaire. I was like, full on, really? This is what I had this millionaire come to me and be like, the only reason you're seeing me is for my money.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, all right, well then don't effing pay me. Test me.
Yeah.
Full on, he did not pay me for months. And he was like, my mother never loved me, but I think you might love me because I'm not paying you. And I'm like, oh God, Lord have mercy. Like, I'm a single mother here. Like, but I did it because on principle, I was like, if that's what you need, because I don't know who else is going to do that for him. And anyways, I believe like if you do something nice, money will just, you know, it may not come from that source, but it's going to come from some other source. So like, he waited until like in his 70s to deal with his mommy issues.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but ladies, thank you.
Like, that's just how it was, right?
Yeah.
Like, what can you do? How could you rush him? How could I rush him?
Yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is like, I'm sure ladies, you guys, you've seen people that come from like the most worst circumstances in life, the most terrible, horrendous things that happen to them, abuse, rape, whatever. And you've seen those people able to rise and elevate and become successful and live a very happy life. So those people can do it. There's no excuse for anybody out there, whatever you're going through, that you can do it. It's just, you're going to have to put in the work, the effort, determination. You have to go through that process of making all those changes in your life. It is possible. But like I said, but there's nothing that I think one of my favorite quotes is, there's nothing that you have gone through that somebody else hasn't gone through the same situation and made a better life out of it. So that's why for me, I don't have a lot of sympathy. I will have empathy for you, but I won't find sympathy for you because I know there's people right now that's in the third world countries starving, but they're figuring out a way to live and survive and still get out their situation. And if they can do it, you can do it as well. But like I said, I think this, you know, we need both sides, the healing, the process, and people like you, Nilu, and also Mabel, and also they need to hear my people like me. So I'm gonna tell them, yo, get your shit together.
Well, I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to wake people up. You're trying to say, listen, do something different. And that's an important voice to have out there. You know, you're kind of like tough love. You're tough love.
Yeah.
And the masculine typically is, right? You're tough love, and I'm like, it's okay. We can do this. It's, you know, you can take your time. And you're like, tough love, you got to get this, you know, and you need both. You need both. You need both voices.
Mabel's a specific honor. That's the only kind of love we get. Tough
love?
We're not allowed.
There's no
have like a nurturing, like,
there's no conversation. Like, hey, there's nothing like that.
We get that kind of like love and stuff. We cringe. We're like, what the heck are you doing?
You don't get that from your moms?
No.
Why not?
It's a rare kind of thing, and if you do get it, it's either heartwarming or you're like, what the heck?
Ew. No, you know who gets that from our moms? Our grandchildren. When we have kids, they get that. They get that. We don't get that. You don't
have like a feminine presence in your life who says, it's all right. You're doing great. You're going to be all right. Oh my God. I am that presence then. I am here to tell the both of you, there is no rush. You're doing great. You're going to be just fine. Popcorn's going to pop when it's going to pop. You're going to pop when you're going to pop. You do not need to judge yourself. You don't need to rush yourself. You're doing great. Just, you know, it'll happen when it's happening, whatever's supposed to happen.
Right.
Like,
yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. If you're watching this right now, if you're from the islands, that message was for you.
Right.
The message is for you. You just need love. You know what? What I do online, it's called bhakti. It's a Sanskrit word, and the translation is love in action. Bhakti.
Yeah.
And it literally means that. And then in therapy for 15 years, what I've done, it's called a love cure. It's a Jungian thing.
Yeah.
And the idea is that nobody changes unless they feel loved.
Oh, nice. All right.
It's the love that
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lilu. So yeah, that was a good starter for our conversation. Start off the podcast, casual sex. Good conversation starter right there. Thank you so much, everybody that's watching this right now. Let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think? But we'll shift it over to the next question. I'll start off with Mabel. Mabel, what's your first question you want to bring up? I know you had a question you wanted to ask.
It's not really a question. It's more like a subject.
Go ahead, bring it up.
Like honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Honesty and mixed in between like loyalty as well. Like I just want to know like why like with some guys, not all guys, why
Mm-hmm.
with some guys they find it hard to be honest to girls about like yeah, that's the question.
Okay, so why certain guys find it hard to be honest and loyal,
Yeah.
and certain guys are not?
Yeah.
Okay. Nilu, what do you think? I want to ask you first before I give my response. What do you think about what she just said? Her question. Why certain guys are not honest and not loyal?
Well, I think honesty and loyalty are learned and practiced. So if you learn these things and you're practicing them since childhood, you'll be really good at them by the time you get to your adulthood. But as you know, and I don't know if it's like this in Polynesian families, but it's certainly like this in a lot of Asian families. Honesty is not a daily practice. So you don't bring your whole self to the table. There's a lot of things you just keep under wraps. And as far as loyalty goes, that can be a trauma. Like loyalty gets turned around in a way that it's like suffocating, right? So if you grow up watching loyalty be a positive experience, if you grow up watching honesty be a positive experience, then you replicate that. But if those are negative experiences for you, then you're just you're gonna do the opposite kind of thing, right? And in Polynesian culture is in a lot of cultures, like having a mistress or cheating is kind of like it happens, like there's not much you can do about it. So then loyalty is that you're laughing, Mabel, so is that true?
Oh no, but my phone just fell.
So yeah, if loyalty is not part of the family culture, then you're not going to learn it. Like, was cheating okay in your family? Did your mother or father cheat on each other? And that was like, they never left each other. So what you learned was loyalty is not a thing. Like, that's not what you do.
Okay.
It's learned, right?
All right.
Yeah.
No, I can totally agree with that. I think one of the things I always say to a lot of people, a lot of people, the love they show you is the love they grew up at home. So if you grew up in a very unstable, toxic household, then especially those guys and girls that grew up in a house where the parents separated or they had a abusive relationship, then whatever love you learn at home is gonna be the love that you're used to. So sometimes when people are loyal, dishonest, or it's just because that's what they think love is, because that's what they were used to and that's what they saw growing up. But I would say to you, to answer your question, Mabel, when it comes to men, of why certain men are not loyal or dishonest, I would say is I think this goes both for men and women. I think number one, the first thing is intentions, right? So the thing is, if a guy or girl, if they have the right intentions for you, they will be loyal and they will be loyal and they'll be honest to you. But I would say this for coming from a man is, especially in today's culture of casual sex, and I say this all the time to a lot of girls, is there's two types of women. There's two types of women out there that men look for. Is the woman that they want to have sex with, and then the woman he wants to wife up. And especially in today's age where there's a lot of casual sex, a lot of guys will have casual sex, but when he's ready to be committed to you, then he will wife you up. So I always tell a lot of women out there, if the guy is not showing you he's not doing the things that you want him to do, or he's not changing, or he's not showing you commitment, then just understand that that you're not the one for him, right? Because when a guy is ready to settle down, when a guy is ready to commit to you and wife you up, he will, right? And if it's not doing because sometimes I see girls like they complain when the guy leaves, and then everything that she wanted him to do for her, he's doing it for the other girl, right? And I always tell her, well, the reason why he's loyal to that girl because you were just the girl he wanted to have sex with, right? And then the girl, and then when the guy's ready to settle down and is committed to you, he will do that, and he will show it. But I would say this is there's certain qualities that men look for when it comes to wifing up, and there's certain qualities, especially when it comes to wifing up in marriage. And that's something I always want to put out there for a lot of ladies. When it comes to sex, men don't have standards. They'll say anything to you. They'll manipulate you. They'll lie to you. When it comes to sex, it's just having pure sex. They'll do anything they have to do in order to have sex with you. It is what it is. But when it comes to commitment and it comes to marriage, there are certain qualities that men are looking for. Especially our standards when it comes to sex is low, but when it comes to a wife, our standards are very, very high. And the standards that men look for typically when it comes to marriage is they don't want a woman that's a hoe. They don't want a woman that's a hoe. They want a woman that's feminine. They don't want a very masculine woman. They don't want to raise a woman's child. So if you're a woman out there, you have a child, that can be a deterring factor of why a lot of guys won't show you loyalty. But and also what's the last time I'm trying to think in my mind? But those are usually the things that, so if men are not honest to you, they're not showing you commitment, it's usually those are the main qualities that men don't want to wife up. They don't want to wife up a hoe. They don't want to take care of another man's child. Or you're just too masculine for him. You're just too masculine to act like a man, because a lot of women out today are very masculine. Men are always looking for the feminine person. So and that's why you see a lot of girls are very beautiful, but they don't know why these guys are not wifing them up. It's just, I always say, like, why, that's the term wifey material, right? So there's a lot of girls out there, the modern women today, like the wifey material. And I think to make it easier for you ladies, wifey material is traditional women. That's just what I see when I talk to a lot of men, is they'll have sex with everybody, but most men, they want to wife up a traditional woman. So
I feel like because in a poly household, like with experience, because I'm the oldest girl, and oldest girls have like a lot of responsibility in the household. With you saying masculinity, it's very hard for us girls, mostly because we are also raised doing both a girl's job and the boy's job in the house. Yeah. So yeah, it's very, yeah, I think that's the only reason why, unless it's either that or it's something, I forgot what the word was, but like it's harder for us older girls to find a relationship if the problem in guys were like, oh yeah, she's too masculine for me. But it's like the way we were raised. We were raised in that.
Yeah, that's something I have noticed with a lot of Pacific Islander girls, is like a lot of them are very masculine, but that's how you guys are raised, right? You guys are raised like boys. Right? Yeah. So I do see that a lot with our the girls are very masculine, right? Very strong. They want to beat the shit out of you. Yeah. Was it to explain to them, like, it's femininity. It's like you have to be able to show your feminine side. So, because every girl has a feminine side. The thing is, the problem with a lot of masculine women is, the guy especially if you're very masculine, you need a guy that's more masculine than you, right? That's what happens. Because if you're a feminine woman, you're going to be attracted to any masculine guy, right? Whether his masculinity was average, above average, or very, very masculine. But if you're a very masculine girl, the guy that you want is gonna be the very masculine. The guy has to be more dominant than you, and then you'll be able to be vulnerable to him. But the thing is, the more the masculine guy is, the more he's looking for a feminine woman. That's the problem. So the more masculine guy is, he always wants to. He might have sex with you because guys, they don't care if you're masculine, feminine. They'll still have sex with you. But the masculine men, they want the feminine woman. So all you gotta, I think all you gotta do is just be able to show more of your femininity, you know, and be able to, like, is that something that you experience yourself? Guys think that you're very masculine.
No, I just get told by my brothers half the time.
Huh?
And like I've never seen it as much of a problem, but I sometimes hold back from trying to show my masculine side, mostly because I don't want the guy to feel less of a guy.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah. I mean, if a guy, the thing for you is like, would you say you're very masculine yourself?
Yeah.
I think the best chance for you to find a guy that you would be attracted to and he'd be attracted to you is find a masculine guy, a guy that's more masculine than you. Because if you meet a guy that's not in tune with his masculinity, he's gonna because you're more masculine than him, it's gonna deter him from you. But if you meet a guy that's very masculine, and more than you, he won't be deterred by. He won't see your masculine as an issue, but he will. But if you but the thing is, like, he'll still be able to be with you. But if you be able to, after the initial date, you'll be able to show him more of your femininity, then he'll be able to stick around, right? But I just of all the poly girls out there, I just noticed like a lot of them are very masculine. Like they don't act feminine, or especially with the way they dress, the way they act. Act like a guy. So like I always tell my poly sisters out there, like, just bring out your feminine side.
It's
because if a guy,
safe. We don't live in a society where it's necessarily safe to be feminine. If you're masculine, you're protected. It's a false type of thing, but like, if you dress more, you're less likely to be attacked. You're less likely to be messed with, you're less likely to be like taken advantage of because you're not seen as feminine. You're seen as masculine and maybe not as vulnerable, right? So I spent many years of my life. I remember in college, I would wear like really big clothes and try to look more masculine. And the reason for that was, I'm just being honest. Like, I didn't want to get raped.
Yeah.
That was the bottom line. And then, in my 20s, when I got a job and I had a partner, I was able to be more feminine because I felt protected. I had my partner. But I do think that women who have safe relationships, either safe families or a safe man in their life, they can be more feminine because they feel they have protection. When I don't have protection, like, as soon as I get into a relationship, I lose weight. I do feel more feminine because I feel like I have this guy's gonna defend me or something.
Like you dress up more as well. Like,
I feel like I can be
doing the most.
Mabel, I feel like I can be more sexy. But when I'm single, I don't necessarily like to be because I get nervous about the attention. But as soon as I have a partner who's safe, then I do feel like I can be more beautiful, and I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
Yeah. Let me maybe I have a question for you. Thank you for sharing that, Neil. Thank you for sharing that.
No, thank you.
Maple, do you have a fear of men? Like, you're afraid that a man might come in and waste your time or hurt you?
Yeah.
Okay, because one thing I realized.
Because
go ahead.
it's not only that, it's because like I've got 2 kids already, and it's like you're gonna be wasting a baby mama's time. Like, come on, like we're already raising 2 kids. We don't need to raise another kid, and like, you know, like, yeah, it's like that.
No, because one thing I've noticed when women who are very masculine is usually a lot of them have a fear because the men in the past didn't protect them. Because like Nilo said, when you're with the right man and you feel protected, you feel loved, that brings out your vulnerability and your femininity as a woman. A lot of times these women they had a bad experience either with their past men or their father or the men in their life. So now your guard is up, and then you act like a man. You're trying to you want to protect yourself.
Protect those kids.
But
who else is helping you protect those kids, Mabel?
Pardon?
Who is helping you protect those kids and care for those kids, really, besides you?
My parents and my brothers.
But here's the thing, Mabel, is like, because in order for you're very masculine, so the guy that you're gonna be attracted to is the guy that's gonna be more masculine than you. But that guy, like I told you before, that guy's looking for femininity. So one thing I always have to talk to a lot of girls that have been hurt before or maybe masculine. I was like, you have to bring your guard down and bring more of your femininity so he can see it, right? But a lot of times your guard is so high, and they're like, especially when it comes from masculine men. I'm very masculine myself. I'm always craving a woman's vulnerability. I'm looking for emotion. I'm already strong myself. Like I'm already strong myself. I don't like to talk about my feelings, but I crave that in the partner I'm looking for. So I'm not looking for a girl that's the same as me, that strong and don't want to talk about her feelings. I'm already doing that. I don't want to talk about my feelings, but I want the girl that I want to be with, I want her to talk about feelings. For me, that's what I look for. So for a lot of masculine women out there, I have to explain to them, like, you got to bring those walls back down, go through that healing process, and understand that, leave that in the past. That was just a bad experience with that man, but there's many men out there that's gonna be the right man for you. But for those men, they need to feel that feminine energy from you, especially the very masculine, dominant guy that you guys want to feel protected. Because once he meets you and you show him your vulnerability and your femininity, he's gonna be like, oh, okay. You'll be able to attract him to come closer to you. A lot of times, I've been with some masculine women before. I'm like, I'm having conversation with them, but I don't even feel connected to them because their walls are so high. Because I could just tell, like, they're just so afraid. They're just fear that I might hurt them. All right. And for a lot of guys, like, like, if I can't feel anything from you on a very emotional level, then you know what? I'd rather go with a girl that's open with their feelings already. I don't have to climb through a wall just to get to know her. Well, this girl right here, she's open with her feelings. She's just showing me all the feminine energy, emotion that I didn't feel from you. I'll just rather go with this one. So you gotta, that's one thing I have to say. Like, if you have that fear, you gotta be able to work on that and bring that. Like Nilo said, when you feel comfortable with the guy, you've let that out.
Yeah.
So you have to. I don't say you to let it all out, but just let some of it out.
Yeah.
Let some of it out. All right. Nilo, anything you want to say, Nilo? Oh, and also before Nilo, maybe I have somebody in the comments said that if you're looking for a guy, he'll be that guy for you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, the thing about this conversation that is striking me the most is, you learn to be vulnerable in relationship, I think, with your mother or your father. And if you don't get to be vulnerable as a kid, I see it with my own daughter. Like, sometimes when I yell at her, I see her clench up and close up. And then I see her when she's, and then it happens at school. Like, people are harsh. And we have conversations about this a lot, that in our family, we're soft, we're nice, we care about people. We call it bucket filling. We fill at least 5 people's buckets a day, which means we just make people feel good. And it could be as simple as, oh, wow, that dress looks really nice on you. Or it could be more substantial, like, you did a really good job leading the class and the stretches for our dance class, because the teacher has them do that. But if you didn't get to have, as a kid, to be vulnerable and soft with your mother or your father, then you learn to harden up. And I'll tell you, I had a very difficult life. Like, I've been working since I was 10. My first job was when I was 10 because we were poor. And I'm not gonna, it's not a pity party. Like, I still remember that lady I worked for. She was an Italian lady. She was paralyzed from the neck down.
Mhm.
And I used to go to her house for $2 an hour. This was many years ago. And I would
Dang.
feed her. And I would talk to her. But I was 10, and that $2 an hour was a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, and then in high school, by the time I was 13 and 14, I was babysitting every weekend, and I was buying my own clothes,
Mhm.
you know, because we didn't have it. And so you toughen up, right? But the thing that brought me back totally and utterly brought me back to softness, it was becoming a mother. You know, my daughter, she's 8.5, and I just wanted to give her everything. At the same time, I became very strong too.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you do yoga, it's strength and flexibility. It's
Yeah.
both. Got to be strong, got to be flexible. So the strong is the masculine and the flexible is the feminine.
Yeah.
And, you know, even now I find myself, you know, hardening up. And then I have to remind myself, like, I got to soften. I don't want her to be hard. I want her to feel like she can soften. And here's something that happens. So like last night is the perfect example. We must have sat for an hour, and she drew all these fashion design dresses. In order for a child to be able to do that, to go into their own world and draw stuff that comes from their own imagination, they have to feel safe in the house, and they have to feel safe in the relationship. If you don't feel safe, you cannot flow into another state of mind, because you're always on guard. You know, you're always on guard. When am I going to get attacked? When am I going to emotionally attack? When am I going to get physically attacked? So you just never are able to like go into your imagination kind of thing. So, you know, if you have grown up that way, both of you sound like you grew up that way. You grew up in homes where you had to harden.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting.
Yep.
So how do you soften then? I mean, you know, like for me, I've had a therapist for years. I think I've done therapy for 25 years. Also because I wanted to become a really good therapist myself. Not 25. Yeah, something like 20 years. Maybe not 25, but 20 years I've done therapy. And when you sit with your therapist, if they are a really good therapist, you can soften with them. And then you don't have to be hard all the time. But you'll notice it as soon as you're around your mom, you toughen up because she wanted you to be tough, or you had to be that way with your dad. And then it's hard to meet people. Like maybe you're in a community where almost everybody is tough, you know? And so now, you know, maybe you got to look for people where it's okay to be soft because they're safe. You know, they let you be soft and they're not going to judge you on it like maybe your mom did or your dad did. Toughen up. You know, like you can feel it, I bet, when you get around your mom or dad, you like clench, right? You clench up. And like feel the difference in this conversation where it's like an opening. It's like we can none of us feel like we're going to get attacked or that we're going to get judged or anything. So we're like so soft with each other. We're like just so honest and soft with each other. And it's hard to do it's hard to find your people. We don't live in a soft world.
Oh yeah, the life is not soft.
Life is not soft.
I would say to what Neil said, to respond to Mabel, like you know, the mother, right? The mother figure, right? For a lot of guys, you know, when we meet women, like we're looking for a woman that's gonna be the mother of my child. Right? That's why femininity is so important for you to bring that out. So I've gone on dates with women who are very independent, very successful. There's a different feeling when I go on a date with a girl that's just very nurturing and caring. And in subconsciously or consciously, I'm like, damn, you can be my mother of my child. So I'm more attracted to that woman. It's like I've been on dates with very masculine women, very independent, successful, talk about their success. It's cool, but then when I meet a very nurturing, loving woman, that I'm like, damn, this girl is ready to be a mom. I can see her as the mother of my child. I'm just attracted to her. So for a lot of masculine women, you guys, because of those walls, a lot of guys, like especially when we're looking for commitment, we're looking at you as a potential mother of my child. And if you're unemotional, you have your walls up, they're like, man, I can't even bond with her emotionally. How is she gonna bond with my kids? So men are always looking for the nurturing, caring. So if you show more of that, it does help.
Well, and the truth of the matter is, you know, it's all fine and good when things are going well.
Yeah.
But in crisis, when you go through crisis, the only thing that gets people through crisis is being loving and nurturing and kind.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get through crisis with hardness. All right. I mean, maybe some people could do it, but like for me, it's like if we're in crisis, you know, I want to be nurturing. I want to be kind. I feel like we'll heal through it, you know?
Yeah, the dilemma with a lot of girls is like, and I think hopefully Maple you don't make this mistake, is especially the masculine women is like they try it one time, right? They'll, you know what, I'm masculine, let me try this femininity out. And they'll try it one time, and then the guy, oh, I'm feminine now, and then the guy, they went on a guy with a date with somebody, it didn't work out. And I have to tell them, no, just you have to be feminine at all times and to meet the right guy. Just because it didn't work out, just because you switched up and be feminine and didn't work out. Oh, see, it didn't work. I was feminine, it didn't work out. I'm gonna go back to my masculinity. No, it's like, you know, finding the right guy is gonna take time. So, you know, don't, you know, if you meet a guy and you're feminine to him and he didn't vibe to your femininity, it doesn't mean it didn't work. It just means that he wasn't the right man for you, because the right guy will come. But yeah, Nilu, so that was Mabel's question. Mabel, thank you so much. Thank you much for your question. There was some people in the chats there said they want to be that man for you. So
You know, I have to tell you, like I've told you, Will, like I got on TikTok like a month ago.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you, like, I'm like, what is happening here? Like, you know, I love you. There's so many people who just say, I love you. And I was like, what is that? What is that? And, you know, the funny thing is, like, I've said that to so many people in my life. Like, literally, I've said to so many patients, you are loved. But I'm like, nobody really said that to me. Now people are saying that to me. And I'm like, what? Like, what is that? You know? And I'm really trying to like you're talking about, like, I'm really trying to soften to it and be like, thank you. I love you too. Thank you for your love. Because my initial reaction is like, what? Why do you love me? Like, why? And so I go back and I watch my videos. So here's something about social media that I've noticed. Like, we're not actually on social media for other people to watch us. We're actually on social media to watch ourselves and understand ourselves. Right? And so I go back and I watch my videos and I'm like, all right, if I was somebody and I found her videos, what would I think of her? And I'm like, she is just so sweet. She's really kind. She like is mean to zero people, no matter what they say to her. She always finds a way to be positive. Like, I really like her. I do love her. She's adorable. You know, like removing yourself and watching yourself and seeing how other people might feel. And then it makes it easier for me when somebody says, I love you, I want to marry. Some guy was like, hundreds, I'm not trying to be egotistical, but hundreds of people are like, can I marry you? So this is what I've started saying. I'm like, in a sense, we are already married because you're a drop from the collective masculine.
Yeah.
And I consider myself married to the divine masculine, you know, like divine masculine who's out there, where, you know, who's the existence. And so if I'm married to him, the divine masculine with capital D and a capital M, and you're a drop, then we're married too. And I guess I'm polyamorous, you know, but it's energetic. Like I can't sleep with you. I don't want to, but energetically we're married because, and it's the same thing for you. You are the husband of every single drop of feminine, and it changes the whole way of looking at men or like looking at women. You know, when you say Mabel is a drop from the ocean that is divine feminine, like all of a sudden you can't, you know, like you look at her differently. You know, Will is a drop from the, and Will, you truly are. You truly, I'm doing this with you because you truly are a drop from the ocean that is divine masculine. Like, and you're so young. Not that I'm that much older than you, but like, you know, whatever. Like I got an older sister thing going on. I'm an older sister, so like whatever, you know. And it's also an Indian thing. Like you could be like 1 year older than somebody and you're like, oh yeah, I'm your older sister, you know.
Yeah.
But like you truly have at such a young age this and what does it mean to be a drop from the divine masculine? You have a sense of responsibility. You have a sense of mission. You have a really big sense of mission. You have a sense of like devotion to your community. Like you want to uplift your Polynesian community full on. And at such a young age, you've taken the courage, you make yourself visible, you take the risk, you know, you put yourself out there to say, I am here I'm here to help, and I'm here to elevate, and I'm here to raise your consciousness. And that's
Yeah.
the divine masculine. That's what does the divine masculine do? They just want to elevate others.
Thank you.
Not in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bring people together, you know, and you're getting people to soften and open up. So someone like you, women are going to probably soften and be more feminine around you because they can, because you're safe.
Yeah.
You're trustworthy. That's the divine masculine, being safe, being trustworthy, being mission driven, being like responsible, not just for yourself. You're responsible for yourself. We know it. And you're not just responsible for your family, but you're like, I am responsible for the entire effing Polynesian community. Like that's responsibility right there, you know? That's the divine masculine.
Oh, thank you. Really appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you, man. I feel like that's what I needed when I was younger. But anyways, thank you so much, Nilu.
Well, it's hard not to be seen, right? Like,
yeah.
And what I want to say is, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm saying this to you. All of a sudden, you really you touched my heart by saying you don't have a mom who does this for you. And, you know, I lost a son like probably about 6 years ago. You know, he was little. He was very little. And so I'm like,
I would say this, like, the thing is, like, there were women in my life that did that for me, but it's just a different way that Polynesians show love. It's just, we don't understand it when you're young, but then you go off older, and you're like, oh, that's why.
That's why they did it.
Well, speaking of which, my daughter noticed the time and she said, it is 12 and you need to get off. So I do, but here's what I want to say to both of you. You can hear her, she's saying mom. Well, I'll say it to you, Will, and then you can say it because you're, you know, this is your thing. What I want you to know.
You've been doing this for 2 hours.
Okay. You're doing great. You're doing a wonderful job. I want to encourage you, Will, to look at yourself in your social media because maybe your mother didn't see you, but like you got to see yourself. And I'll keep posting comments too because I really think you're doing an amazing job.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I see you. Okay.
We see you too. We see you too, Neela.
I see you. Okay, I gotta go. My daughter needs to see me.
All right, shout out to you.
All right, thank you so much. This was beautiful.
All right, Neela, have a good one.
All right, take care, both of you.
All right. For sure. All right.
I've been waiting an hour.
All right. So we got 30 more minutes left. So Mabel, I know you said I got some more questions. There's some more questions. Let's dive right into those questions. Go ahead. Yeah, I want to hear. I know you have some more. I want to hear your questions and finish up the podcast with those questions. What do you want to talk about?
I did have a question. It's more towards an experience I had a long time ago. This guy once told me that that I was talking to. He said that he didn't want to have sex with me because he didn't want to ruin what we had going on. And in my head, I was like, oh, okay, sure. Like, okay, surely he's lying or something. But yeah, that's is that true? Is it true that guys what is it? Like they tell a girl they don't want to have sex with them simply because they don't want to ruin a good thing going on?
Okay. How long did you know this guy?
Oh, it was like a long time ago. It was probably like 3 years ago.
Yeah, but like how long did you guys know each other?
For like almost a year.
You guys knew each other for almost a year. And then but he didn't want to have sex with you because he didn't want to ruin a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there's multiple reasons why men would do that, but just hearing what he said, it just sounds like he like. Wait. When you guys were for that whole year, were you guys dating? Like what was it?
Yeah.
You guys were dating.
Yeah.
And did you put a label in your were you guys official, like boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah, we were.
Was he religious?
No, in no way he was religious. He didn't
wasn't
believe in anything with religion.
he wasn't religious. Did he have morals, or when it comes to like he wanted to wait to marriage to have sex? Did he have those
No,
types of morals?
no,
Okay.
because he was having sex with other girls.
So he was having sex with other girls during the relationship,
Yeah,
and then he wouldn't have sex with you.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you said that, then he was just using you for your time and attention.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah, I mean, if a guy, let's be honest, if a guy is committed to you, like he does want to have sex with you. There's no guy that's like, I'm gonna commit to you, but I don't want to have sex with you. That is, that doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. So, yeah, it just means that his intentions for you wasn't the same. Like he wasn't looking long term for you.
Okay.
And I'm surprised. Like did you when did you bring up the sex part? Like how long before? Like when you guys first met? Like how long did you bring it up before you brought it up?
Like 5 months into the relationship.
5 months into it.
He was the one who brought it up. Like he was always egging it on, talking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, but yeah, towards the end of the relationship, that's when he told me, and I was like, oh, okay.
So 5 months into the relationship, he brought up the topic of sex, or you brought it up?
He brought it up.
Oh,
like
okay.
he was egging it on like he wanted to.
Okay, and then when he brought it up, like what was your response?
I said, yeah, like I thought, okay, 5 months in, yeah, this is gonna be like a forever thing. But then, yeah, towards the end, he was like, oh yeah, I don't want to have sex with you because I don't want to ruin like a good thing. And I was like, okay, that's fine.
Okay. Let me. I know you said you have kids, right? Did you already a kid 3 years ago?
No.
Okay. So 3 years ago, you had no kids when you were with him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so he brought it up, and then you wanted to have sex with him, and he didn't. He didn't want to have sex.
No, he didn't.
Okay. For me, like if a guy doesn't want to have sex with you, it just means he's either super religious, but you already said he's not. Right?
Yeah, he's really not.
Number 2, he's low-key gay. Low-key on the low.
Okay.
Or number 3, he's insecure about his performance. His performance of sex. Because like like outside of those 3 reasons, I can't think of any reason why a guy that's you're dating him or you guys are dating and wouldn't want to have sex. I don't accept those 3 reasons. Like either he's super religious and he wants to wait to marriage. I get that. There's religious guys out there. Or he's like, oh, like I said before, like, oh, he's just secretly gay on the low. Yeah. Just putting up a front to make it seem like he's dating women. But then But you said he was sleeping with other girls too, right?
Yeah, he was having sex with other girls during the relationship.
Oh yeah, then yeah, I think he was just using you like a lot of times what men would do is like they'll have a roster of girls.
Yeah.
So they'll date multiple girls, so that way they have a roster, so they can always fall back to a girl. So like he's having sex with this girl,
like
but he knows it.
Huh? Like a pastimer?
Yeah, So like a lot of guys will spend time with girls, right?
Yeah.
So that way, like if something happens with this girl, I can always go with this girl. You know what I'm saying? It's like a backup to a backup to a backup to a backup. That's why a lot of guys have a roster. But then even if you have a roster with multiple women, he will only have sex with the ones he likes the most. So if he has like if the guy's like talking to say 6 girls or seven girls, then he will only have sex with the top 2 or the 3 he likes the most, and then the other girls he won't. But he'll make up an excuse of why he can't have to do it. But he just wants to keep it. He just wants to keep it around just in case. That's casual dating. That's modern day dating today of casual. people have multiple options. Because no one's really talking to one person no more.
Yeah.
So everybody has their options. Like they're talking to multiple people, and then they'll give limited attention and time to the bottom, the ones he's not really interested in, but he give most of his time and energy and physical attention to the ones he likes the most. So it just sounds like if he's having sex with those girls, then he cared more about them than you. Yeah, he didn't show any red flags like that whole year you guys were dating. He didn't show any red flags.
No, it was honestly like weird. Like I thought everything was going great, and then it just happened. I was like, okay.
How did you know that? Did you know he was sleeping with other girls during the relationship or after?
I had messages from a couple friends that were related to the girl, and they were like, oh yeah, you shouldn't trust him. And I was like, okay. So I confronted him about it, and he gave pretty like good excuses.
What do you say?
Like, he said that they were just hanging out and stuff, and he's known the family for ages. And I was like, oh, okay. He said they were like family friends, like close to being cousins kind of thingy. And I was like, oh, yes. I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. So I didn't think anything of it. And then that's when that girl told me that, yeah, they have been having sex. And I was like, okay. And then the relationship ended there.
Oh, okay. So as soon as you found out that he was having sex, and did you confront him about it?
Yeah.
And then what did he say?
He finally told the truth, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I just ended it there.
Yeah. And then was it how did you guys meet? Was it he found you or you found him?
He found me. Yeah, he found me on social media, and I was like, oh, okay. But we actually met like a few years back in school.
Oh,
but we've just never spoken. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah. It's just it just sounds like that he was just using you, and you were just like another girl, and that he's multiple girls he was talking to, because he was doing that. If he's doing that to you, best believe he was doing it to other girls as well.
Doing it to other girls, yeah.
And then when you have multiple options, then you only give your most attention and sex to the ones you like the most, and then the other ones you just give them limited time just to keep them around.
Yeah.
Damn, it's hard in those streets, y'all. It's hard. The game is messed up.
Would have been better if he was gay, but okay.
Yeah. So I mean, is he in a relationship now with another girl, or?
Oh, I don't know. I blocked him like that same day. I was like, oh, fat.
I know, man. I know it's tough. Like, yeah, that's one of the things. Like, I always tell a lot of women and guys out there, like, you have to assume everybody's talking to multiple people if you want to protect yourself. But that's why let me ask you, when you meet guys, like, do you tell them up front in the beginning, like, I'm looking for commitment. I'm not doing this casual relationship. I'm looking for like a long-term committed relationship?
Not really, because when I first meet a guy, half of the time it's like just a friendship kind of thing, like, oh yeah, I just want to be friends, like, let's hang out and all that stuff. And then towards, like, if I'm starting to like feel like if they're gonna be like a really good friend to me, then obviously they'll be like a good partner wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I look for. Because like if I go jumping straight into, oh yeah, I'm looking for this kind of guy, I want him to like be loyal, blah blah blah, like in my head I'm like, nah, he's probably gonna get bored or something like that.
Yeah. So so when you were with him for that the whole year, did you ever talk about like long-term plans?
Yeah.
Or like we're gonna be committed? Like, did you ever bring that up?
Yeah.
What did he say?
We've always spoken about our ideals of marriage and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally thought it was a bit too fast, because like it was only like a year, and we he said that he didn't want to get married, but he did want me to move in and all that stuff. And I was like, nah, because being in a poly house, if you move in with your boyfriend and and you're not married, obviously your mom and dad's gonna think otherwise.
You're like, you know what your dad's gonna do? He's gonna go to the closet, get the
no. Nah, my dad would have. Oh, hell no. Yeah, but yeah, that was one of the like the main things that he was always talking about. Like, oh yeah, you should move out with me, and I was like, nah, I can't. Like, I really can't. But other than that, he said he didn't want marriage. He was always talking about like no religion and stuff, and being in a Samoan household, like God and religion is a very big thing in our culture. So I didn't think like maybe he'll come around or something like that, but he never did. So it wasn't really
because you're you're a religious person, right? Like okay, yeah. No, that's let me ask you, after experiencing that, like what do you do differently now? I mean, what do you do different when you meet men today? What do you do differently to make sure that you can get commitment from him and he's not wasting your time like the men before? What do you do differently now?
Differently right now, because I'm currently in one.
Yeah.
So I just I sit and observe. Like I don't want I tell them, well, I told him that don't catch feelings, and but in the end I was the one who caught feelings. So so I told him not to catch feelings, but deep down I didn't know, because I was a bit scared, because I got 2 kids, and I don't want people wasting my time, because like my time is really involved around the kids. So if I include someone else into the whole mixture and stuff, then it's gonna be like it's gonna be a lot of work. But yeah, I just like, at first I figure out their vibe, if they're good, if they're a good man, like if they're gonna treat their mom well, they're gonna treat me well. And then I look towards like their honesty. Like if they're very honest about their past, then I can figure them out even more. Like if you're like talking to multiple girls in the past and stuff, like I want to know, like just so if it happens again, then I'll be like, oh yep, okay. Or if it's still happening and stuff. But yeah, other than that, I always look towards like their honesty, especially their honesty, because I've always been lied to, like through like my past relationships. So yeah.
Well, I think for me personally, like just observing people, I think one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people do is we don't tell people our intentions and what we want out of the relationship, so we can set a foundation, right? So this is what most people do, and I used to do it before. We just date, and then hopefully something works.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, I don't say what I really want. They're not saying what I really want. I mean, we're just hoping that it goes from potential into something, into a real relationship. Yeah. And I think it's really, really important. Is to tell, like, if you're looking for something serious and committed, I think it is important to, like, hey, when you of course, once you're done with the talking stage and you guys finally meet up,
yeah,
I think it's important to tell them, hey, I'm looking for something long term. I'm looking for commitment. I'm not here to waste time. I'm not here to do I don't do the multiple people thing. So if you're talking to multiple girls, drop them. You gotta drop them. If this is gonna continue, right? So I think it's important for women to tell them everything that you want in the relationship, and of course he'd be able to explain that back to you. But a lot of times I do notice, like, a lot of girls, they don't tell him what he wants. And the thing is, if you don't tell him what he wants, then he opens it up for him to manipulate you. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Because he can just tell you whatever you want to hear to keep you around. But a lot of girls, I was like, yeah, tell him what you want. And then some of the girls are like, what if he leaves? Okay, on to the next.
Yeah.
right? But I think it's hard. I think for a lot of girls it's hard because you finally met a guy you like, but it's just a lot of girls are afraid of like getting their rejecting, getting rejected with that guy. And I tell girls, no, tell him what he wants, and if because I always tell girls like, if the guy really likes you and vibes with you and is committed to you and he's looking for the same thing, if you tell him he's looking for commitment, he's like, oh hell yeah. He's gonna be hell excited. He's like, oh for sure. You're looking for commitment, I'm looking for commitment. Great.
Yeah.
It's not gonna scare him. And if it does scare him, then that means his intention is different. He was looking for you for a different purpose.
Yeah.
So if he's scared of you and walks away, then that tells you, oh, he was he was using me for a different thing. So for me, like, I like it when I go on when I date women today, I tell them my intentions, and I like that, and I ask them like, what's your intentions, and I want them to tell me because I want to know, because I'm not gonna spend like a year just figuring out, like, waiting. And the whole year, year is a long time, you know. That's a long that's a year you will never get back. So like, what are your thoughts about that? What do you think about speaking, like telling them in the beginning? Like, what do you think about that?
I feel like it's good in some cases. Well, for me, speaking up about stuff, I'm very closed up until I really get to know them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't tell them like straight away, only because like I'm scared that they might not have the same intentions, or like it could end in an argument or something like that. Like, I try to avoid arguments like at all costs. So yeah.
But that's the thing, like, that's all I always tell women, like, the guy really likes you, he'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you know this. Like, I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've done it before. Like, where you've been with a guy, you really like, and no matter how things went, you figured out how to, like, to fix it.
Trying to make it.
Yeah, right. Like, even though it sucked, like shit, we're arguing, but because you really wanted to work, you figure out a way. And the same thing for men. I tell girls all the time, like, if he really likes you and you're really committed to you, even if you say something that he may disagree with or whatever, like, he'll figure out a way, because that's what happens when a guy really committed to you. But if he's not willing to fight for you, then that just shows you, like, he wasn't serious. But the hardest thing is walking away, right? That's the hardest thing. Like, walk away. Like, if it doesn't work out, then you'll be able to walk away from the situation. And for a lot of girls, it's hard for them to walk away, especially from a guy that you really like, and then go back into the dating world and try to find another person.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the thing. Go on. You want something to say?
Pardon?
Oh no, I thought you had something to say. You want to say something?
Nah, I was listening. I was listening to your advice.
No, I'm telling you. No, I think this is a conversation like I have this conversation all the time with a lot of girls too, especially the Pacific Island girls, because we don't have these conversations with our families. You know, to ask about boys.
Yeah. For us, we barely talk about boys because it was very not allowed. We weren't allowed to talk about it, and if we did, we obviously will get a hiding from our parents. But yeah, we weren't very educated on like what kind of guys and stuff. We're just told, okay, like, you're gonna grow up, you're gonna learn how to cook, you're gonna learn how to clean, so when you have a husband, you know how to do it right and all that stuff. But we weren't really taught like the whole how to get a husband or what kind of like husband to get.
Yeah, it's just because social media changed everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because now, like, guys are because, like, traditionally, like, the Polynesian girls are cook and clean. That, you know, those are the type of women that men will love to marry and wife up. The problem is today is just the society is pushing casual sex.
Yeah.
Guys are like, you know what? I'm that girl that I really want to pursue. I'm gonna wait off on her, and let me go fuck these other bitches, and then and the fucked up thing about the good girls is that the good girls, these guys are not coming to them. So a lot of these good girls think that something's wrong with them.
Yeah. I've had a lot of experiences about that with guys telling me, "Oh yeah, like you're beautiful and all that stuff," and then goes and cheats, and then like in my head I'm like, okay, but it's the worst. It's the worst feeling, especially like when they say, "Oh yeah, you're so beautiful, like you're very gorgeous and all that stuff," and then they go and cheat with someone.
Yeah.
I don't want to be sad. But they go and cheat with someone who's ugly, and then you sit there and you have to sit there and you're wondering, like come on. Then you have to sit there wondering like, oh, so how are you gonna call me beautiful, but you go and cheat with them? Like, come on, like, yeah. It's sad, but
I know that. I mean, that's the thing. That's the culture today. Is like they're pushing guys, right, to have sex, and that's the norm, right?
Yeah.
So guys are like, all right, shoot, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna see all these pretty girls on social media. I'm gonna go have sex, but then they'll hold off on the good girl. And this is something I was gonna tell good girls, like, look, like don't hold, like stay strong, because those guys, the guys will come back. Well, no, fuck those guys. They wasted your time. But the good men, the guys that are looking for commitment, are looking for you. So once he finds it, you're good to go. But a lot of times, what happens is the good girls, you start questioning themselves because you're seeing all these guys smashing all these ugly chicks. You're like, what the fuck?
And they really be questioning themselves afterwards because they're like, what the heck?
Yeah, exactly. So then you know, I'll fuck this good girl shit. I'm gonna go into this bad girl shit. But then the bad girl shit doesn't work.
I'm going clubbing now.
Whole season.
Hot girl summer.
Hot girl summer, but that doesn't even work either. You know, that doesn't work either too. So that's why I'm saying to all the good girls out there, you gotta stay strong, because the problem, I'm telling you, the good men are out there, but the thing is, they're trying to find you among all these other hoes out here. So they're trying to.
They're just swimming now.
They're trying to cast where are all the good girls at? So I've heard that so many times with a lot of girls, like they like, I think we talked about earlier in the beginning of the podcast, like they start doing things that they don't want to do, right? Or become like everybody else, even though in their heart they want to be with one person. But yeah, so that's the hardest thing about being a good girl today, is being a good girl and then seeing all these guys pursue all these these ratchet girls or whatever, but then you start questioning yourself. So let me know your thoughts, everybody. What you guys thought about it, and and for all the ugly girls out there, hey. Hey, if you're ugly, you're ugly. All right, it's all good. Still have love for you. But anyways, we've come to the end of the podcast. Maybe one thing, I just want to say thank you so much for jumping on, and thank you for being on the podcast. It was kind of fun. Also, the shout out to Nilu, if you're watching this, shout out to you for jumping on and sharing your thoughts and everything. It was kind of cool. I was dying when we were trying to explain to her, like, because Islanders, we don't get that type of love.
For real? I'm like, no, when that was brought up, I was like, nah, sis, it doesn't work like that in our household.
Nah, it's that tough love. That's tough love.
Yeah.
Oh, let me ask you, do you before we finish this, do you, when it comes to the men that you look for, are you looking for like a tough love type of man, or if you meet a guy if you meet a Pacific Islander guy, but that's like Nilu, very open with his emotions, and do you find that attractive, or you're attracted to the tough love, the more masculine?
I'm attracted to the straight up, like, tell me,
the tough love. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you meet a guy that's like not tough love, but he's like he likes to talk about feelings, like, that's not a.
I mean, I'm still attracted, but I like a tough love kind of guy, but I want him to also mix it a little bit. Like, give me some of that sugar.
Oh yeah, the softness.
Be sweet to me.
You want the hard and the soft.
Yeah.
Okay, you want them both. Like, be hard on me, but also give me that softness. He doesn't want to be. You can't be too soft.
Yeah.
Got you. But we come to the end of the podcast. Let me ask you, people. One thing I always ask every single guest. What did you take away from tonight's podcast? What did you think?
I thought this was actually pretty good and very like the advice that was coming out of it was pretty good. I would literally be talking about this for the next week now. To my sister though, I'll be educating my little sister because she's in high school and she's got her first boyfriend. So now like with my experiences and now with your experiences and Nila's like experiences, I'm good to go. Like I've learned a whole bunch of things like from loving myself, like instead of like always trying to impress a man.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And like I said, you're an attractive girl. Like you're a beautiful girl. So like, yeah. I'm gonna keep it 100. But the best thing, you're pretty. Is just like all you gotta do is just do the right things, right? Do the right things to attract the right man. And that's the thing. Like because some girls out there, some girls out there are ugly. But I'm just keep it 100. So you have to work harder. But you're already good looking yourself. So all you gotta do is just make the right choices for yourself, and you'll be able to attract the good guys out there. So so that's the thing. I always tell my ugly friends, hey, because you're ugly, you have to do a lot more work. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm like, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying you have to put a lot of work in. Because it is what it is. But you're still young. You're an attractive girl. All you gotta do is just like I said, just understand men, so you don't waste your time with the wrong men. And also just like I said, just be a good woman. And then I'm telling you, it's gonna take time, but you're gonna find a good man and out there, and then you're gonna have a good life. Hopefully, people have these more conversations like this, especially in our community. But anyways, thank you so much, everybody that's watching this right now. Thank you much for watching live. Let me know your comments below. Much love for you guys that are watching. Drop a comment below. I know Maple, there's a lot of guys on the comments that wanted to shout you out for shooting their shot. So Maple, how do if anybody wants to find you, how do they find you?
On Instagram, Mabel_Leota, or on TikTok, the same thing.
All right, so if you guys want to support Mabel, want to follow her, definitely support her and everything she's doing. Thank you so much for jumping on and supporting me. But yeah, if you have any questions, don't forget, guys, we do this every single Saturday. We have these conversations. So thank you for watching and dropping on for this live show, and I'll see you guys next Saturday. I'm gonna stop the live.